Hello humans! So the lineup of games for EVO 2019 was announced, and if you're a fan of Super Smash Bros. Melee, you probably already know the lineup since you got punked, but along with Melee being let down and being let off the list, there was one specific game that actually was planned to be on this list, and was kicked off the list due to the EVO stream 2 weeks ago. Dead or Alive 6. You guessed it. If you don't already know about what happened, I did do a dedicated video on it, and I will link it in the description. It was quite a long situation, so I will link it for you to watch, but they actually had planned to have Dead or Alive 6 on this list, but after the core value situation, which I'm referring to, they scrapped that idea and added in another game, and that's not really surprising that it was on the list, and because it was planned to be on the game's lineup, but it was removed because of the situation. That is really surprising to me. But at the same time, it's kind of not. So I don't know if you all know Joey Kuehler, Mr. Wizard, which was the person that had made this statement on the core values tweet. He has never really been a fan of fan service fighters like Dead or Alive, and he's made that very clear and very known. So even though it was planned to be on the lineup, it's not that surprising that even a small situation like this, it's not that surprising that he let it off of the list, because he's never been a fan of fan service fighter games, and he prefers more realistic fighters, which is perfectly fine, but the fan service community and just the fighting game community in general do not take to that. They do enjoy fan service games like Dead or Alive, and that's perfectly fine, but he has always made it known very well and very loud and clear that he does not like games like that, so it's really surprising to me that it was removed sheerly over this situation. Now, going through this list really quickly, of course Super Smash Bros. Ultimate deserves to be on this list. Street Fighter, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Mortal Kombat 11. These are all very viable games. But a lot of people were shocked by Samurai Showdown, Under Night in Birth, Tekken 7, not really, Cross Tag Battle. A couple of these are very interesting picks, especially where you don't have a main release like Dead or Alive 6 on this list, and this year Dead or Alive 6 was a main release for the fighting game community, along with a couple other things like Mortal Kombat and such, but it's definitely not great to not see a new released game that is highly anticipated on this list because of this small situation that happened. So with all of this information, apparently Dead or Alive is against EVO's core values, which they never commented on and never told us said core values, which is odd that now it would be against the core values when 2 weeks ago, before the core value situation happened, the day that the core value situation happened, Dead or Alive was actually the opening exhibition at EVO. They were highlighting this game, knowing that it would be a large release for the year for the fighting game community, and after one situation that you, at Mr. Wizard, caused it to be blown out of proportion now that it's cut from EVO. Now, the worst part, to me at least, about all of this is that Dead or Alive was toned down and censored to be more appealing in the esports scene, or that was at least the excuse that was given. After all of the miscommunications and all of the statements, that is what I personally have come to believe with all of the information, that we have really gotten about it. And it's really sad to see this game at this point get shunned by a huge event like EVO, even though they made all of these changes to try to appeal better to audiences, and now their past consumers, unfortunately, won't buy the game, and now they're gone too, so overall, Dead or Alive might be dead on arrival, because you made a situation like this. And when a situation like this happens, you've got to bite the bullet. You should have stuck with making your games appealing to your real consumers, not ones that you thought that you could obtain. You can't keep your cake and eat it too, You should have really tried to not have picked your audience. You can't pick your audience because it doesn't really work that way. Overall, we are now being told that Dead or Alive will have after-release patches, for chest effects and such, and the fan service side of it. So it was toned down for events like these. Now it's being toned back up because they're getting shunned by EVO. This game has had a lot of bad press surrounding it, but overall, you guys will have to all let me know your thoughts and opinions on Dead or Alive 6, the journey that we've gone through you know, leading up to the release of Dead or Alive 6, with the whole EVO situation, with now it being toned back up when it was toned down, I feel like there's been a lot of confusion with this game, and for a normal consumer, it's really confusing. It's really, you know, you hear something and then it doesn't happen, but then you hear something else happens. It's been a lot to follow, and honestly, now with this whole situation and everything really being a conjumble of information, it's really just worn me out from hearing about Dead or Alive 6, but I hope the next things that we hear about Dead or Alive 6 are positive things. I hope that people really enjoy the game. I hope that if you purchase it, you really enjoy it, and if you don't purchase it, you will have to let me know why you didn't purchase it, if it's over the situation, if it's over the game in general, etc. You'll have to let me know, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like, and of course, if you didn't, make sure to get a dislike. I appreciate everyone's support, either which way. Thank you guys so much for the EVO video and how well that has done, and I hope that you guys will watch that if you haven't already, but I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys again in the next video really soon.